Imagine the feeling of trying to hold on to something that no longer fits in your life. When God removes someone from your path, it can be painful, but it is also an act of care and wisdom. In this video, we will understand why certain separations are necessary and how they can create space for new blessings. As you follow this content, you will uncover perspectives that can ease the pain of losing a connection that seemed important. We will explore how to trust in God's plan and break free from emotional ties that we often don't realize we're holding on to. Think of someone who recently left your life. What if instead of lamenting or trying to understand at all costs, you chose to accept that there is a greater purpose at work? Let's uncover this vision together so that your heart can find peace and hope. In life, we face moments when important people drift away or relationships we value come to an end. It can be hard to understand the immediate reason for these changes, but it is essential to remember that God is in control of every aspect of our lives. He never removes anything without a clear and greater purpose. This truth challenges us to abandon fear and trust fully in His divine wisdom. Romans 8:28 gives us a powerful promise. We know that all things work together for the good of those who love God. This means that even in losses, there is a greater plan at work. Separations may be uncomfortable and painful, but they are often tools God uses to protect us or prepare us for something greater. He sees what we cannot and acts for our long-term benefit. People come and go in our lives, and each one plays a specific role for the time God allows. Some are here to teach us lessons, while others are sent to support or encourage us during specific moments. When their purpose in our journey is fulfilled, God may move them away so we can move forward to the next stage of our calling. Resisting this process can prevent us from experiencing the fullness of His plans. Sometimes we hold on to relationships or connections because we fear the emptiness that might come after a separation. However, that emptiness may be exactly the space God needs to pour new blessings into our lives. By letting go, we are not only obeying the Lord, but also opening ourselves to the opportunities He is preparing for us. Letting go is an act of faith, a surrender of our will to His divine direction. Separations do not mean rejection or punishment from God. They are necessary adjustments to align our lives with His purpose. When you find yourself in a moment of loss, ask God, "What do you want me to learn from this?" This question shifts our perspective, allowing us to see each loss as an opportunity for spiritual growth and greater closeness to Him. It is in this posture of trust that we experience peace, even amid the most difficult transitions. Trusting in God's timing is one of the greatest challenges for many Christians. We are used to wanting quick answers, immediate solutions, and visible results. However, God's timing is perfect and operates on a level far beyond human understanding. When God removes people from our lives, He does so at the right time, even if, to us, the moment feels confusing or painful. Ecclesiastes 3:1 teaches us that there is a time for everything and a season for every activity under the heavens. This truth reminds us that God is orchestrating every detail of our story with care and precision. Even if, in the moment, we don't understand why something is happening, we can rest assured that His divine plan is always at work, even when it seems like nothing is changing. Resisting God's timing can lead to anxiety and frustration. Often, we want to hold on to relationships or situations that are no longer part of His purpose for us. This resistance can trap us in a cycle of spiritual stagnation. But by trusting in God's timing, we allow Him to remove what no longer serves us and bring what is needed at the right moment. It is an exercise of faith and patience. Remember that while you wait, God is working. His silence does not mean absence, it means preparation. Perhaps He is shaping your heart, developing your skills, or even preparing someone else to enter your life at the right time. Sometimes the waiting period is when God works most deeply in us, strengthening our faith and trust in Him. When you surrender control of timing to God, you also release the burden of worry. Trusting in God's timing is liberating because it helps us live more freely, knowing we don't need to have all the answers or solve everything on our own. Trust that even if you don't understand now why someone was removed from your life, In time, God will reveal the purpose behind every detail, and you will realize it was exactly what needed to happen. The pain of loss is a universal and inevitable experience, but for Christians, it comes with a promise of comfort. God understands human emotions and knows that saying goodbye can be extremely difficult. He does not ignore your suffering. On the contrary, He is present in every tear and offers His comfort. Psalm 34:18 reminds us, "The Lord is close to the brokenhearted." Your pain is not in vain. It is an opportunity to draw closer to God. Accepting loss is not always immediate. Often we cling to questions like, "Why did this happen?" or "What could I have done differently?" This kind of thinking can lead to guilt and regret. But God calls us to trust in His plan, leaving behind what no longer aligns with His purpose for us. This surrender is freeing and allows the healing process to begin. God teaches us that even in moments of loss, there is growth and transformation. Pain, though uncomfortable, is a catalyst for spiritual maturity. When we learn to let go, we begin to recognize what truly matters: our relationship with God and the purpose He has for us. Loss may seem like an ending, but in God's hands, it is the beginning of something greater. The healing process requires time, prayer, and patience. Find comfort in the Scriptures, allowing God's Word to renew your mind and heart. Meditate on verses such as Isaiah 41:10. "Do not fear, for I am with you. Do not be dismayed, for I am your God. I will strengthen you and help you. I will uphold you with my righteous right hand." God is with you at every step, ensuring that you are never alone. Overcoming pain does not mean forgetting or ignoring what happened, but trusting that God is using this experience to shape you. He is the potter, and you are the clay. He is molding you into something beautiful and meaningful. By laying your pain at the feet of Christ, you will find a peace that surpasses all understanding and allow God to guide you into the next chapter of your life. Even in the most difficult farewells, God is present. He is the God who never abandons us, even when we feel alone or confused. Sometimes it is in the absence of people that we perceive God's presence more clearly. He uses these moments to remind us that He is the source of our strength and comfort. As written in Deuteronomy 31:8, "The Lord Himself goes before you and will be with you. He will never leave you nor forsake you." God works in all situations for our good, including those that seem like losses. He specializes in transforming seemingly chaotic circumstances into opportunities for growth and redemption. When someone leaves your life, it may be that God is adjusting the relationships around you to align your journey with the plan He has designed. All of this is part of God's continual care for you. God's presence is a constant reminder that you are not going through this situation alone. Even when friends or family cannot understand your pain, God knows every detail. He sees what you feel and offers refuge. Psalm 46:1 reminds us, "God is our refuge and strength, an ever-present help in trouble." Find strength in this truth and allow His presence to be your foundation. When we face losses, we are often brought to a place of greater dependence on God. He uses these experiences to teach us to trust less in people or circumstances and more in Him. It is in these moments that we learn to recognize His voice, feel His touch, and experience His peace. Instead of focusing on what was lost, focus on the presence of the God who remains. God's presence transforms how we view loss. What once seemed unbearable begins to shift into a profound lesson about love, faith, and redemption. He is always by our side, guiding us toward a greater understanding of His purpose and grace. If you open your heart to Him, you will find that His presence is more than enough to fill any void left by those who have departed. Holding on to something that God is removing can become a barrier to what He wants to give you. When we insist on keeping people or situations that have already fulfilled their purpose, we limit God's work in our lives. Letting go is more than a practical action. It is a spiritual act of trust. It is believing that God knows what is best for you, and that by letting go, you are creating space for something greater and more aligned with His purpose. God calls us to live with open hands, ready to receive His blessings, and also to release what no longer belongs to us. Isaiah 43:18-19 encourages us, "Forget the former things. Do not dwell on the past. See, I am doing a new thing." This verse challenges us not to cling to what was, but to look forward with hope to what God is bringing. Letting go is not a loss, but an invitation to embrace the new. By letting go, we acknowledge that we are not the authors of our story. God is writing a greater narrative, and He knows what we need in each chapter. Often it is only after we release something that we realize how that person or situation was hindering our growth. God removes to protect, to redirect, and to place us in spaces we could never have imagined. Letting go can be scary, but it is liberating. Holding on to what God is trying to remove is carrying a burden we were not meant to bear. Jesus invites us, "Come to me, all you who are weary and burdened, and I will give you rest." Matthew 11:28. When we surrender our worries to Him, including the relationships He has removed, we find rest for our souls and strength to move forward. By trusting in God and releasing what is no longer meant to stay, you make room to receive what is truly yours. God's blessings come at the right time, in the right way, and with the right purpose. He never removes something without the intention of replacing it with something far better. Trust in the Lord, let go, and prepare to see incredible doors open in your life. God is in control, and the best is yet to come. As we have learned today to trust in God's plan and let go of those He decides to remove, it is crucial to keep seeking His guidance and divine signs to navigate each step of our journey. When we accept God's will, we allow Him to work greater things in our lives. If you want to deepen your relationship with God, I have 2 video recommendations to complement your spiritual journey. The first is 5 signs that God is speaking to you right now, where you will learn how to recognize clear signs that God is communicating something important to your life. The second is Decisions or Destiny. What really drives our life? An inspiring video that dives deep into the connection between destiny and choices, helping you discover how to make wiser decisions and align your life with God's purpose for you. Remember to like this video, subscribe to the channel, and share it with someone who needs this message. Your interaction helps us spread God's word to more people. Click the links to watch the recommended videos and dive even further into this journey of faith. Never forget, your faith is your strength, and it will guide you toward the purpose God has for you.